What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Drop, the weekly show that lets you know the hottest games coming out across the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the PC, the Switch, whatever they might be coming out on, we will talk about them right here. This week, Remothered Broken Porcelain is our headline, coming out across all consoles as well as the PC, making the perfect entry point in this horror franchise. Of course, we have other games to talk about like NHL 21, Torchlight 3, and more, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Remothered Broken Porcelain comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The truths buried in the Ashman Inn will not be discovered easily. Its many mysteries are intertwined and guarded by the looming threat of the stalkers, powerful hunters trapped in time and the confines of its walls. Survival will take more than just quick reactions, as a strategic and resourceful approach will quickly become critical in this haunting adventure. Be smart, knowing the best time to sneak, flee, or fight imminent dangers can quickly make the hunters become the hunted. Broken Porcelain brings an abundance of welcome changes to the series, introducing new gameplay and storytelling elements that breathe new life into the characters and an unprecedented level of immersion in this haunting adventure, perfect for both new and returning fans to the series. Over the past few years, these horror games have really risen in popularity in a lot of different ways. Of course, in the mainstream, you have Resident Evil 7, which kind of took the spotlight and still maintains it to this day, and then you also have indie games like Outlast and the rest of that trilogy that has come to be. But whenever you check out Remothered, it looks a lot like Outlast, where you have this AI-driven antagonist that you have to avoid or fight whenever you have an interaction with them, and there are a couple of those within this game. Now, this is a follow-up to 2018's Tormented Fathers, so if you played that game, this is essentially going to be the sequel to that with a couple of new bells and whistles. So if you do want to dive in this week, Remothered Broken Porcelain is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Next up, NHL 21 is coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. In EA Sports NHL 21, it is the most creative, inventive, and fearless players that are worth celebrating. Carve your path to superstardom in an expanded Be a Pro mode and go down as one of the league's greatest. On the ice, change up your attack with all new moves, decks, dangles, and evasive maneuvers inspired by the league's most groundbreaking innovators. Recognize creativity, recognize revolutionary, recognize future. NHL 21, recognize greatness. Now, normally I don't pimp pre-orders because I don't really believe in pre-ordering. That's kind of like an artificial scarcity thing at this point, unless you want some kind of special edition that comes with a trophy or something. However, you might want to consider pre-ordering this one if you are already getting NHL 21, because there is an extra little perk. EA Sports is throwing it back with NHL 94 Rewind. It's today's teams and today's rosters with controls and graphics from 1994. Relive one of the greatest hockey video games of all time with your favorite clubs and stars of today. Pre-order NHL 21 and you'll be able to play NHL 94 Rewind on October the 30th. Now, the big question is, are you actually going to be able to get NHL 94 Rewind without having pre-ordered NHL 21? And quite frankly, I think that's probably going to be the case. It sounds like they're going to announce a standalone release, but again, if you're a fan of NHL 21, you might as well go ahead and pre-order because you'll be buying it anyway, and you get a free game later in the month of October. But all of that's beside the point. NHL 21 looks to be continuing the NHL trend of being one of the best EA Sports games that comes out. Shockingly, year to year, it seems like fans are pretty satisfied with them. When it comes to this year, it's a strange year because it is a transition year between a console generation into another. So, if you do want to pick up NHL 21 this week, it is coming out on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Unfortunately, PC fans are left out in the cold yet again. Next up, Torchlight 3 is coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. It has been a century since the events of Torchlight 2, and the Ember Empire is in decline. In Torchlight 3, Nova Strea is again under the threat of invasion, and it's up to you to defend against the Netherrealm and its allies. Gather your wits and brave the frontier to find fame, glory, and new adventures. Travel the frontier, explore the wilderness, party with friends, gather materials to craft gear, or use magic to enter unknown dungeons. There's always something to do in the new frontier. Build and upgrade your fort. It is time to rebuild, and that includes you. Enjoy your own fort, where you can upgrade gear and renovate your fort to show off to your friends and to the world. Collect epic gear. Whether it's armor, weapons, dyes, recipes, or even new pets, there's always more to find as you battle through dungeons and take on dangerous foes. Pets are back. Fight your way to fame and glory with your loyal companion. Add skills and equip them with gear to make them stronger. Each species comes in a myriad of colors and styles, so make sure to collect them all and build your hero. With 4 unique classes to choose from, players can utilize class-specific mechanics to maximize damage and their odds of survival. Combine epic gear, relic powers, and class abilities to customize your play style. Now, for those that don't know much about Torchlight 2, essentially it rose to fame on Steam for being number 1, a solid dungeon crawler, number 2, $2 every time Steam had a pretty big sale, so the majority of people probably have this in their library. Now, the early access reviews on Steam have not been overwhelmingly positive. They are in fact sitting at mixed, and so what that says is that the game might not be fulfilling fans' expectations. According to a lot of people that have reviewed the game on Steam, it just doesn't have that same complexity of Torchlight 2. It has been simplified in a lot of different ways, and then on top of that, the maps just don't seem to have that much depth. And so, with that being taken into account, that was an early access review. It has been months since the game hit early access, so a lot can change between now and then. Now again, the people that are playing early access are the hardcore of the hardcore dungeon crawler Torchlight fans, so they are going to be the most critical naturally. Now, sitting on YouTube are like to dislike ratios that are pretty favorable across all of the trailers for the new game. So if you are new to the Torchlight series, maybe you're just loosely affiliated with it, or you might be new to dungeon crawlers altogether, you might want to check this one out this week when it launches on PS4, Xbox One, and PC in full. Also, it is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is going to be an ideal game for the Nintendo Switch if you do need a new dungeon crawler for Nintendo's little handheld that could. And to round out today's show, we have Jackbox Party Pack 7 coming out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. 5 new games: the hit threequel Quiplash 3, the collaborative chaos of The Devil's in the Details, the fierce drawing game Champed Up, the speech game Talking Points, and the guessing game Blather Round. Use phones or tablets as controllers, play with up to 8 players and an audience of 10,000. Number 1, the Say Anything threequel Quiplash 3. Get big laughs answering the quirkiest prompts. Number 2, the collaborative chaos game The Devil's in the Details. Can you survive the daily torture of human life? The drawing fighting game Champed Up. Can you take down the heavy favorite? The on-the-spot speech game Talking Points. Just keep talking whether it makes sense or not. The pop culture guessing game Blather Round. It's a good, fun time experience. When it comes to hosting gatherings, whether digitally or physically, the Jackbox Party Pack games are always a pretty good time, and for a lot of people they are the go-to entertainment. Essentially, they are just a collection of fun mini-games where you just partner up with people over cell phone, and you can do quizzes, there are plenty of drawing tasks, you can tell jokes. It's just a really good time if you have a group of friends. Now make no mistake, you need a pretty good size amount of people to play this and really get the most bang for your buck. But for Twitch streamers, this is a good option for a community night. For those that might have, for instance, in my case, lunch with coworkers, you can throw this up on a TV in the break room and you're good to go. Have a good time with that. But these games sound pretty fun, so if you want to dive into the Jackbox Party Pack 7, it's coming out this week across all platforms. But before we go, we have a couple of honorable mentions. First off, Cook Serve Delicious 3 is coming out on the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch, and Shantae Risky's Revenge Director's Cut is coming out on Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So, did anything catch your eye on this week's show? Let me know in the comments section down below. And of course, we have a very big month coming up with less than 1 month until the release of both of the newest generation consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. You can subscribe to the Jam Pack Report to stay up to date on everything as soon as the news breaks. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.